Hi guys, welcome back to the podcast Time Bomb. It's your host Diamond, and today we have a very interesting and exciting topic for me to talk about today. We're going to be talking about friendships and relationships and losing those friendships and losing those connections in your relationships. I've said this before. I want this podcast to be for everyone, not just for those who are grieving the death of a loved one or anything along those lines, because yes, when you lose a loved one, you do lose relationships and friendships along the way. But even when you're not grieving a loved one and you haven't experienced death, you still go through phases in your life where you're no longer going to be friends with someone, or your boyfriend or your girlfriend, you just guys are just not connecting anymore, and that's 100% okay. But yeah, that's pretty much what today's topic is going to be about. I cannot wait to dive into this, so let's just jump right into it. Okay, so I feel like the best way for me to start this episode off is to pretty much let you guys know what type of friend I am first, so that this could make way more sense. But I am definitely a friend or a person that gives 1,001% into all my relationships, all of my friendships, all of my connections, any type of teamwork, any type of anybody I work with. That's just the type of person I am, and I am that friend. No matter if we're beefing, no matter if we haven't talked in 3 days, if you need me for anything, if you need me to call you an Uber, if you need like something's going down and you just need someone to talk to, like I will show up. It doesn't matter if we haven't spoken 2+ days or 3 days or we're arguing. It does not matter, because at the end of the day, like I don't really care. At the end of the day, if I love you, I love you. It doesn't matter. And I feel like everyone's going to get into arguments, with friends and family and relationships, everything along those lines. That's normal. If you didn't get into arguments, kind of be like, something's wrong. But I that's 100% normal, and that's the type of friend I am. I'm definitely a friend that gives my all, and I really do not like to have broken friendships, broken relationships. Like I would prefer, if this was a happy world, I would prefer to still be friends with people I was friends with since like middle school, like type of thing. If this was the happiest, like if this was the happy ending. And that's just the type of person I am. So the reason I say that is because I'm about to go into why exactly some of these friendships and relationships did not work out is because of what people expected of me. I feel like the first thing to say is, having my mom passed away such a tragic way and such unexpected, my life did, like, I'm in a brand new life. I really feel like I have a brand new life. I feel like I died and came back and I'm a brand new person. Like that's genuinely how I feel. And these people expected me to be the same diamond that I was when my mom was still here, but unfortunately, like that diamond no longer exists. I went through such a tragic moment in my life that I had to pivot and move a different way and become a brand new person. And that's honestly who I've become. And a lot of people, didn't accept that. A lot of people weren't happy with what I was doing or how I was doing. And that's 100% okay. Everyone's not going to support you. Everyone's not going to agree with what you think you're doing is the best thing. Or everyone's not going to agree with what you do or what you say. And that's normal. That's normal. Even if you haven't experienced losing a loved one, that's 100% normal. And that's fine. But where this comes into play is once my mom had passed, like I had this feeling that like people were just leeching off of me. And not money wise, but more like everyone just wanted a piece of me. And people who were in my life before my mom had passed wanted a bigger role, wanted to play a bigger part in my life. But unfortunately, that doesn't really work out because yes, my mom has passed, and yes, there are certain aspects of my life that other people have filled, but no one's 100% going to fill my mother's role ever. And I've come to terms with that, and I've learned that, and that's 100% fine. But these people, just everyone just wanted a piece of me, and to have or to give yourself to everybody pretty much left me with nothing, like nothing, which is so sad. Not that I'm saying that to say, but it's the truth. Like everyone wanted something from me, or everyone wanted to be a part of my life. And it's fine that you want to be part of my life, but when you want more, want to be more involved, or feel like you're entitled to certain, like, I guess you say like roles, I don't know what to call it, like in my life, it's just like pause, that's not happening, like that's not going down, like that's not working. But for me, it was, in my opinion, it came off like I am one of the last things left of my mother. And it's like everyone just wanted to be a part of that. And I get that, but at the end of the day, like I will never be my mother. as no matter how much I resemble my mother, no matter how much I talk like my mother, dress like my mother, mindset, like it does not matter. I will never be her, and I can never bring her back. And it was just not a healthy feeling to, or it wasn't a healthy way for me to live my life and have certain people in my life because of that, because they just like, oh, well, you remind me so much of your mother, or you're the last thing of your mother, like whatever. And it's like, that's not healthy. Like, that's not healthy. And it wasn't healthy for my mindset at all, just to really think about it. Like, to think I'm stretching myself in 1,000 different directions and have nothing left for myself, nothing left to give myself, was sad. Like, I was genuinely drained, because I felt like at a time, like, oh, well, and I'm very much like an understanding, at least I like to think I'm a pretty much understanding person. And like, a lot of people I know and a lot of people that I talk to always say, like, you give so many people so many excuses and reasons, because I like to say I give people the benefit of the doubt, like, oh, well, they're grieving too. But to a certain extent, this is my life, and I do have to move on without my mother in it. And to have people in here, like, I wouldn't say they just want to be a part of my life because of, like, they miss my mom. But to have people a part of my life and want so much more from me, more than what I have given them in the past while my mother was still here, it was just, like, unacceptable. Really unacceptable. And I feel like another reason why a lot of my relationships fell apart was people were not understanding. And what I'm about to say, like, just think about and just really listen to what I'm about to say. Society sees a situation going on in the media, in the news, or just in your friend group, in your whatever group, and everyone's talking about it. It's the hot topic. It's the tea. We have to talk about it. We have to post about it on Instagram, on Twitter, on TikTok. We have to post about it on all these platforms, putting our opinion out here and just want to join in on the conversation and support and show our love for this person and this cause and all that. But after 3 weeks go on, it's like that cause or that situation never existed. Like, ever. Think about it. Has something ever happened and you realize, and that's all you're seeing on your social media, that's all your friends are talking about, that's all your parents are talking about, and then 2-3+ weeks go on and you're like, wait, whatever happened with that situation? Yeah, so that was me. And it was like, everyone, when my mom first passed, was so sad. Obviously, all of us were grieving, but after a couple months had went by, everyone's life returned back to normal, but me. My life did not return back to normal. And I felt like, I'm going to refer back to the example I gave you guys. It's like, that situation, people don't remember that cause no more, but the people who are living that are still going through it, are still, like, trying to process what just happened to them, or are even still experiencing it. So that was me. It's like, yeah, my mom passed 2+ months or 3 months ago, but I'm still upset, and I'm still trying to learn what my new life will look like, and I'm still angry, and I'm still crying, and I'm still trying to figure out what is going on in this world. Like, what am I doing? Like, and I'm still trying to figure it out. And I felt like people just didn't understand that. And that ties into the next thing, because people expected me to be the same person I was, but it's like people fail to realize, like, I just lost my mom, and my mom was my everything. Like, my everything. If you knew me and you knew, like, my mom, or even if you guys didn't know me, because I know I probably have so many listeners that just genuinely don't know who I am or know my relationship with my mom. Like, I was super close to my mom, like, beyond close to my mom, to the point, like, I was skipping school to go to the mall. I was skipping school to go out of the country. Like, we're super close. Like, I was skipping school with her. It wasn't like I was skipping school with my friends. Like, I didn't skip school with my friends. I skipped school with my mother. Like, we were besties. Lunch date, here we come. Trip, here we come. Mall, here we come. Like, I was super close with my mom. So to experience this, and now you have that type of close-knit relationship with someone, in my case my mother, and now that be ripped from you unexpectedly, tragically, and you're now left with trying to rebuild your life, rebuild this puzzle, and it's like, how is this about to work? And you're trying to figure it out. People just expected so much from me, or expected me to be the same person who I was before my mom had left, but unfortunately, like, that's not possible. I had to make a pivot in my life, and me making that pivot in my life caused me to be a new person. And I always say, like, since my mom has passed, like, it's like was reborn into a brand new person, because I don't even feel like, when I look back and look at photos or even just certain things from high school when my mom was here, I'm like, who is that person? Like, I have no idea who that Diamond is. Like, I do, but I'm no longer that person. And just to think about that is so, like, crazy to me. When I look back, I'm like, wow, like, how that Diamond thought is not how this Diamond thinks. How that Diamond moves is not how this Diamond moves now. So it's just so crazy to think about. And that was the main thing. And it's like, yes, I'm going to college, and a lot of my friends we were all going through this new phase together of, we've been in the same high school for all 4 years, and we've been around each other pretty much every single day. Now to being in a new environment with no friends. Some people went out of state, some people live in dorms. It's like, yes, we're all experiencing this, but I was experiencing this on a faster rate and on an accelerated rate, in the sense that, like, I'm experiencing, yes, this new chapter with all of my graduating class of 2019, but I'm also experiencing the loss of a parent, a loss of, certain, like, a loss of a parent in a relationship that most people don't even experience till they're grown, which is insane to think about. And I'm 17 years old, and I know grown people older than me, and I'm talking about, like, in their 50s, 60s, like 70s, and, well, not 70s, that's pushing it, but like 50s and 60s, and their, like, parents are still around, and they have, like, it's just like, wow. But I'm 17 years old, going through the process of grieving my mother. So it just was it was a lot for me to handle. And people expected way more from me. People wanted the same relationship connection that we had in high school, but unfortunately, even if my mom didn't pass away, that's just impossible to be in a brand new school with brand new people and still talk to these people, my high school, like, classmates, on a regular day basis, multiple times throughout the day. Like, we're no longer all taking Algebra 1. We're no longer all have the same goal, which was to graduate. Yes, we all have the same goal to graduate college, but some of us want to go to med school. Some of us want to go to nursing school. Some of us want to be lawyers. Like, everyone wants to be certain things. Certain people went into the Navy. Like, everyone now is, like, all on their different paths. And since we're all on different paths, it was like, we're not even the same people we were back in high school. But it was like, certain people just didn't understand that, and it really just didn't work out like the best. And with people not understanding that, it caused a lot of issues with these friendships, with these connections, with these relationships. And another thing that I feel like really bothered me in these relationships was that everybody gave these people excuses. And my mom just passed. Where's my excuse? I didn't get an excuse. Did I? No, I did not. And I'm very much just like, even though, the girl across the street gave me an excuse, if you want to be in my life, I don't owe you an excuse. And it really came to the point where people just felt entitled. They felt like they were entitled to certain aspects of my life. But the crazy part about it is, no one's entitled to anything in anybody's life. Not just my life, but anybody's life. If I want to tell you what happened to me yesterday, cool. If I don't, cool too. If you was in that circle that knew what happened to me yesterday, great. If you weren't, cool. Not a problem. And it's not that, I think some people took it as like, well, we don't talk every day, so you don't love me no more. No, that's not that at all. I can still love you and not talk to you all day for a week. Like, one of my closest friends from high school, actually one of the only people I really talked to from high school, me and her don't even talk every day. We talk like maybe once a month, but we're still besties. If I was to call her up right now, she would answer, vice versa. Like, we're still there for each other. When stuff go wrong in our life, we always be calling each other, updating each other. We still very much love each other. And I feel like the people in my life had this mindset, oh, well, she doesn't call me anymore. She doesn't FaceTime me no more. She didn't text me no more. And it was just like, come on, we're getting past that. We're in college. Like, can we do better? Type of thing. And that's really was just not a good feeling to have, that I felt like I shouldn't feel obligated to call anybody to avoid drama. Like, that's not how your friendship or relationship should work. And being in that type of friendship and relationship, it's not healthy. It's not healthy for anybody. And I feel like the next thing that really caused me to, like, really go over the edge, that really caused me to, like, start cutting people off, was people are selfish. And I got to really see how selfish people are. And what I mean, they're selfish. Like, they're very just like, it's all about them. And, they feel as though what they did is, it was justified. And what I did clearly was not justified because I'm in the wrong. And it's like, I may have been in the wrong. I may have not been in the wrong. But I don't really care, because if I don't want to deal with you, if I don't want to tell you certain things, I have every right to, and that is 100% okay. And it just goes back to the whole entitlement thing, and people just genuinely felt entitled, and people wanted bits and pieces of me that I could not give, and I kind of went ghost on people. And I wouldn't blame this all on these people, but I will say, like, everyone needs to learn how to communicate, and I'm working on how to communicate, and not only communicate, but communicate in different types of ways, because how I talk to the person right here is not how I talk to the person that's next to me or across the street, because everyone communicates in different ways. And once you learn that, or start learning that, because I feel like you're always going to be learning how to communicate as you get older, as you're in different situations, should I say, as you're just coming in contact with different people too. You really start to learn how to communicate. And I was not the best communicator, especially when my mom had passed. I was not a good communicator with expressing how I felt or what I may have been going through. But neither were those people either. And I'm not trying to justify that either, because like I said, I'm not pointing fingers, because I feel like it takes two people to tango. So I definitely do think a relationship is a two-sided type of thing, and one person has to give their all, and so does the other. But to a certain extent, I felt like, I don't know, like, how do I explain it? I just felt like I just needed space, and it's 100% okay to need space, and people just didn't understand that. Or when I didn't need space, it was very much, how do I explain this? It was just very much needy, and I can't deal with needy people at all, let alone when I'm grieving my mother, let alone when I'm trying to put my life back together. And that's just that. I just can't deal with needy people, and I can't deal with, like, people who throw themselves pity parties, because, like I said, I lost my mother. Baby, you still have your mother. So since you still have your mother, I frankly can care less. And that may be mean of me to say, but I don't care. That was my mindset at the time. Like, I lost my mom, and you're throwing yourself a pity party for what? Because I'm confused. What are you throwing yourself a pity party for? And that was kind of my mindset. And one thing I also started to learn was, as time went on, because it wasn't like these relationships fell apart right my mom had passed. These relationships fell apart in 2020. My mom passed in 2019. So these relationships held on for a hot minute. And that was because of me. These relationships held on because of me. And I think, or I know these relationships held on because of me, because I had this fear that, like, I didn't know who I was, and I didn't know who I was going to be without certain things in my life, without certain people in my life, because I just wanted a sense of, like, what do you call it? Like, I just wanted something that was comfortable. I wanted something that I was familiar with. I didn't want something that, like, everything in my life had already kind of went left. So if that meant keeping this shirt and keeping this person in this book in my life, that's exactly what I did. But as time went on, I realized the longer I'm holding on to these people and these things, the more I'm hurting myself in the future. And it's crazy to think about. And I didn't realize how much power and control I had over myself, and how much power and control I had over who I allow in my life and who I don't allow in my life. But once I was able to acknowledge how much power, and accept and really learn how much power and control I had in my life, it's like, why am I going to hold on to something that keeps hurting me? Why? Why am I going to hold on to something that hurts me? Like, why am I going to hold on to something longer that's going to hurt me even more? Like, it just doesn't make sense. When you put two and two together, it just genuinely just not make sense. And I had to cut the toxic people out of my life, and I had to let them go. And I know people are going to ask me, how exactly did I do that? And I pretty much There's two ways. In one way, people do not agree with what I did, but I don't regret it because I did what I did, and I'm very much a person that I don't regret a lot of things or pretty much anything because I made the best decision I could at that current moment with the knowledge I had. So since I made the best decision I could at that current moment, I don't regret it. But one of the reasons or one of the ways that people like, say like this wasn't the best or way for me to let people go is I just pretty much let the relationship fall apart. One of the times I just didn't respond no more. Another time I just genuinely just let it fall apart where I would just start texting like one word answers. And I still text one word answers, but I'm talking about one word answers where like I'm not feeling the conversation type of like one word answers. And then the second way I had let like certain people out, like cut certain people out of my life is I had to go to the person, whether that was text message, whether that was in person, whether that was on the phone call, FaceTime, and just like let them know like, yeah, this ain't working. We gotta cut this out. Like, this is not beneficial to me. You're not adding value to me. And that's the main thing. Like, you have to be surrounded by people that add value to you, because if you don't, your life will be miserable. And it's just as simple as that. Your life will be chaotic. Your life will be very stagnant. And I just had to be like that. And, some people accepted it and some people didn't. And for those who didn't accept it, God blocked, if I'm being honest. God blocked, because I want to be transparent. I want to be honest on this time bomb. I want to be honest on this podcast, but they got blocked. And I'm telling the truth. I blocked multiple people because once I let them know, like, unfortunately, like, this is not working, like, I don't think we should be in contact anymore, they still kept reaching out. And I was like, yep, gotta block that person. But once I blocked these people, or once I cut these people out of my life, should I say, and let go of all this toxic and bad energy, y'all, my life was on the up and up. Your girl was doing good, like, good. And I'm not going to say, like, I wasn't still having hard days, because I was. But I was just more like a happier person, because I realized these relationships were stressing your girl out. I realized it made me more angry. I was still kind of angry just because of what had happened, like, in my life. But I wasn't nearly as angry, and I was less of, like, a ticking time bomb. Like, I was that person when I had these people in my life. I was that person that you didn't know if I was going to explode today or tomorrow. Like, any given moment, anything would set me off, and I would just be like, oh yeah, I'm going off. Like, I was that type of person. I didn't have no patience, anything. I was like, you say the wrong thing, it's game over. I'm cussing you out, I'm yelling, I'm screaming, I'm going off, like, everything. Like, it's game over. And I'm no longer that type of person. I still do go off, and I still do have my moments. But once I was able to relieve the certain stress in my life, or certain pain, or that was causing my life, my life went on the up and up. And the next thing I want to touch is, like, how do I feel about these relationships that I cut out? If I'm being honest, I feel perfectly fine about these relationships, or me no longer having relationships with these people, should I say. One of the reasons why I feel okay with it was because I'm trying to put together, or I am. I'm still trying to put together this puzzle, and I always refer to it like this. I'm trying to put together this puzzle, and at that time, those people were not the right puzzle, nor did they fit into the puzzle. Like, we're making a puzzle about bears and they're penguins. Like, no. We're making a puzzle about bears right now. So I need all the pieces that are bears, not the penguins and the bears, because they're two separate puzzles. And they just didn't work. Like, it just didn't clash. And it was like, what do you do when you have two different puzzles? You separate them and you keep it pushing, and you only work on one puzzle. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm just trying to build my life, and I'm just trying to see what I like, and just learn who I am as a person, and grow as a person. And I won't say I will never ever have connections with these people again, because you never know what the future holds. And for all I know, I may be friends with these people in 3 months or 5+ years. I don't know. But at that current time that I had to cut them out of my life was one of the best decisions. And currently, I am very content with who's in my life and who's in my circle, who isn't in my circle. And like I said, I don't have any regrets, because I'm doing good. That's pretty much it. I'm doing good. And like I said before, don't hold on to things that are unhealthy and toxic, because it will hurt you in the long run 10 times harder, like hard. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to talk about today. I feel like I spilled all the tea that I had to tell you guys. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you guys like, you guys can follow the podcast on Instagram at Time Bomb Podcast. Once again, you guys can follow the podcast on Time Bomb Podcast on Instagram. That is all for today's episode, guys. I'll see you guys next Sunday. Bye, guys.